Friends, I am Naganagoudar, Head of the Department of English, A.D.B First Year College, Harapanhalli. Today, I would like to discuss with you one feminist literary term called patriarchy, which is prescribed for BA final year English optional students. Friends, most of you are well known the word patriarchy. Patriarchy means it is the rule of the father. The word is derived from Greek language. In a patriarchal social system, it is the man who primarily holds power over all spheres of life. Man is the head of the family, who has authority over his wife and children. In the public fields also, it is the man who holds all powers. Friends, patriarchy has manifested itself in a social, legal, political, economical and religious spheres. Woman has to depend on man for her needs and existence. By doing so, woman became subservient to man. Manu, a great Hindu philosopher, says in his book Manusmriti that women do not deserve independence. She has to be under the control of her husband after her marriage, and before her marriage she has to be under the control of her father, and at her old age she has to be under the control of her son, so that she is not free anywhere. Many patriarchal societies are also patrilineal, means the property and family title are inherited by the male lineage. Father's property is divided among the sons, and they hold and continue the name of the family. Whereas the daughters have no right over father's property, and she has to assume the family name of her husband. She has to change her identity also. Historically, we don't know actually when and how patriarchy initiated. Some scholars point to about 6,000 years ago, patriarchy began to spread throughout the world. In prehistoric times, most of the societies were egalitarian societies. Means men and women both were equal in every sense. But later on, with the advent of agriculture and domestication, women's rules were changed. Wars, invasions, and the concept of private property reduced women as secondary and imprisoned her in male-dominated ethical social systems. Friends, a prominent Greek general called Meno, he sums up the prevailing sentiments of Greeks on the virtues of men and women. I quote, "Man should know how to administrate the state. Man should know how to administrate the state. Whereas woman's duty is to order her house. Woman's duty is to order her house and keep what is indoors and obey her husband." I unquote. The works of Aristotle portrayed women as morally, intellectually, and physically inferior to men. He saw women as the property of man, claimed that woman's role was to reproduce, means give birth to the children, and serve men in the household. Aristotle saw male domination of women as natural and virtuous. But in Egypt, as Herodotus observed, Egyptian women were free as they attended market and employed in trade. They used to sit on a local tribunal, engage in real estate transactions, and inherit or bequeath property. But with the conquest of Alexander the Great, Aristotelian concept spread and perpetuated patriarchy in Egypt also. Up to 16th and 17th centuries, Aristotelian views strengthened patriarchy throughout the world. But in the 19th century, women began to question the commonly accepted patriarchal interpretations. Elizabeth Cary Stanton published a book called The Woman's Bible, which proposed a feminist reading of the Old and New Testaments. This tendency made feminists to denounce patriarchal tradition. Friends, feminist theory defines patriarchy as an unjust social system that is oppressive to women. They perceive it as a social construction and it can be overcome by critically analyzing its manifestations. Because of feminists' continuous struggle for equality and freedom, number of changes have happened in constitutions and women's social position improved a lot in modern times. All these things have been happened because of feminism, as they questioned patriarchy and tried to modify the rules and regulations which were prevailing then. Thank you. Thank you, friends.